We're trying to get you. There she comes. It was wrapped around that tree. Afternoon. I don't know if you call this a barn find. Ted Stevens called us last night and he said, hey, I found some cars. We'll have to dig them out. Want y'all to go video them, get the process out. I think we got 4 cars. A lot of these are just, he said they're just absolute parts cars. And it's another one around here somewhere that is, what's it called, a Road Runner?
Yes.
Still got the tag on it. You see they're logging this here, and all these cars are buried. You can look in the weeds back in here and it's cars. He said it's like 40 cars here. And this is an undisclosed location, so nobody's gonna know where this is at. We're gonna get some rough video of these things loading up, and we get them all out from the trees. We'll go over each one of the cars. Well, tow truck driver's getting in his truck. We'll see y'all here shortly. Thing's really planted to the ground. Been sitting there at least 40, maybe 50 years. You see the front end of the car is wanting to bend. What wheels I can see are halfway in the dirt. There she goes. Something broke loose. Little 55 Chevrolet sitting in the weeds. Back end of that thing ain't moving. That's one that is sure enough set to the ground, set root and rotted. Alright, now watch that front end. It's up against the tree. Tree's done caved the fender in. See the tires come up out of the ground. Man. Car. We're trying to get you. There she comes. It was wrapped around that tree. So y'all believe it or not, there's still old cars sitting around in people's yards, just rotten. All right. I didn't know if that one's going to move. You can see how much the front end bent up. That's the only way you can do it. Yeah, maybe short to come out. All right, we're going to let the rollback do the work now. There's a GTO over on the other side and a Road Runner we're going to get. But it'll have to have a road made to it for us to get to it. All right, let's move to the next step. In that car, the tree had grown around the ball joints, and that's what ripped the tire off. The roots was wrapped up around it when it finally broke loose. You see the, yeah, golly. What was, roots were all around it. Got the second car back here at the yard. Go unload it. That front end was actually, a tree had grown roots around it. The wheel was probably in the ground halfway. And when we finally got that thing loose, the ball joint was into the tree. It tore it loose. Car of the day. Unloaded one over at Ted Stevens. We came back over. I think we got this one and another car we'll get today. And then Friday, somewhere on this property is a Road Runner that's intact. Everything's there. I think it's a parts car, but everything is there. Big Plymouth. Thing looks like it weighs 6 tons sitting there. Well, we're gonna find a record driver. He went one way and I went the other. We're coming up on cars. Find them, we'll get her loaded up. And this is where we're going to get the cars. We got the Coronet 500 right there. It was covered up. And I think all these cars are for sale, but you have to check in the description and see. There's a Mustang. I think that's a Thunderbird. And I believe I've seen a Vega station wagon. Old Ford. There's a square body. Another square body. An old Ford. And right there is like a Naval Impala. There's a Nova. Like a 55 four-door Bel Air. We brought the New Yorker. Brought the New Yorker out of there. And there's the cars. That's the last ones we're after. It's a Road Runner, GTO. And looked like it might have tore up one car getting it moved. Good deal. Looked like they might have tore up the Thunderbird getting to it.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. That was one of the ugly ones.
Yeah. Okay, the fact that the GTO was undisturbed too is good.
Yeah.
And it had a set of factory, a factory mag wheel on it. Okay. Well, this particular 68 Road Runner here I've known about for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. It was out here in this swamp with all these other cars that this fella accumulated. It's Alabama in August, so it's 1,000 degrees and 1,000% humidity out here. So all this stuff just grows on top of the car, all this vegetation, and moss and whatnot. But it's
yeah, it's like carpet.
I don't know how bad rotten this thing's gonna be. See, the moldings are coming off of the back window.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of them bad about rusting out right there.
Well, that was the thing about these cars here. There's a zillion giant ants. The way the window was designed, water would collect up in the corners. It couldn't get out. And with these cars, that's where the rust started. It'd get down through the corners of the back window into the trunk, and then rust the trunk floor and the trunk extensions and the bottoms of the quarters and everything else. So this one's got a hole in it right there. That's typical. That's so the ants can get in and out.
Yeah. We disturbed some habitat.
Well, it looks like we're going to scoot the car over to the right, and then and this Road Runner here is probably an early car. Most of the later cars had what they call a decor package on them, which has got an aluminum panel that goes across the trunk. It's got nicer seating in it, some stuff like that. But these strippy Road Runners like this are kind of hard to find. You don't see very many of them. A lot of it depends on, people, the kind of people that bought them. The cheaper the car is, the more likely it is to get destroyed, it seems like. I don't think we need to get the doors open. Oh, we did. Well, there used to be a floor in it. Automatic. You can see the ground through the side of the quarter panel on the left side there. This has got like I said again, this is a cheapy, strippy Road Runner, so it's got the low end interiors, park bench seats, and dump truck steering wheel. No rear armrests. which is what the Road Runner was originally all about. This was supposed to be a budget muscle car. And like most of the others, as time went by, people would order them with all kinds of options and air conditioning and power steering and stereos and all that stuff.
It had that bent seat.
Yeah, that was standard. You couldn't get bucket seats in a Road Runner till '69. Like I said, this car's so rusty, I don't know if when Woody loads it, it may come apart.
What are your plans with this car?
I don't know. We'll have to see what happens if it doesn't come apart. You know, I mean, it could be restored. It would be an expensive restoration because it's so rusty. It depends on what the frame rails and rockers look like when you get it up. Oh, cool! This one had the blackout on the hood. Look, fender turn signals.
$382.
Oh, there it is.
Did many of them have that blackout hood on them?
Some of them did. Now this thing's still got the air cleaner on the motor. Wow. I mean, like I said, finding a car that's all intact like this is a rarity. You just don't see that hardly anymore. It's this late in the game. Battery tray probably rusted off of it in the 80s. And the hood, this is a white car. The hood's been changed, so the car probably got bumped somewhere. You can see the red paint on the bottom of the hood there. Still got the original.
Is that the original motor in it?
I would say it probably is. It looks too unmolested to.
Yeah, you don't see rigged up stuff going everywhere.
No, I mean all the spark plug wires are gone. I wonder what happened to them, but probably put on another car. But the brackets are still there. Usually, if a car's ever had headers put on it and stuff like that, all that stuff got took off and thrown away. Well, there's one plug wire. That's a Packard cable. So I don't know how many miles this car's got on it, but the plug wires got changed. Here's some plug wires up here in the. Yeah, it's all aftermarket crap there. Once you're going to move it to the left and so get on it, get it up. Now, there's a GTO sitting over here that which we don't care about, but a lot of people do. That's a 68. Now, the GTO was, you know, a lot of people say it started the muscle car movement. They were building performance cars back in the 50s, but the idea of putting a big engine into a smaller car started with this in 1964. And the GTO was the top selling intermediate muscle car, I believe. Which in 64, well, they were building, Chrysler was putting 426 wedges in cars, you know, and max wedges, you know, back starting in the early 60s. So, but the idea of mass producing a car that was, you know, a big engine in a small car started with this car. So the Road Runner kind of owes it a little bit. And it was gaining on it on sales, starting in 68. Plymouth sold nearly 45,000 Road Runners, and I think they sold about 80,000 GTOs or something like that. And the SS396 Chevelle, I think, followed this car, but the Road Runner was getting there. And in '69, I think it rivaled sales on the GTO. So pretty amazing that the car was that well accepted and it was that popular. This here is, I didn't notice this. This molding package here was an option. It's weird. Some of the, like it's got this on it. It's got fender turn signals on it. This is not as stripped down, as strippy as I thought it might have been. I'd cut them, weld them down here.
Well, I've seen quite a few of them. I've seen one right there, but you can tell it didn't look like factory stuff. It looked like a
Well, the hood's been changed on it. Looks like it probably had a quarter panel put on it, so it's your typical Road Runner. It had a rough life.
That back tire's chopped, ain't it? Hang on. No, it's on something. Don't get in the direct line of anything like that. I can see a chain, or don't stand where you can look down. That will anything anywhere
It'll pull it off and it'll hit you.
sometimes something like this, you think it might break. Take your shirt.
Yeah, you good up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever seen people do that?
You coming away from them.
Throw a coat over it. If it breaks, it don't
You're off all these over here.
It helps it fight. Going to a back window, tailgate.
There she goes. First time she's probably moved. Well, somebody come in here and said these cars was put in here in the late 70s, early 80s. And it's 2024 now.
I didn't say restorable. To the
Solid.
sunshine, yeah. Well, that's a couple stump holes I had to fill in, so, you know. It ain't his first rodeo. We talking about the road builder.
Well, we never did get any of the doors open on this car yet. So this is 70 Coronet 500 four-door. Like I said, this car will be parted out. Most cars that have a whole lot of doors on them are not of a lot of interest to people for restorations, even though some people do. But let's see. It's got a 318 in it. Power steering, power brakes, air. There's one good thing already. It's got a 3-speed wiper motor core on it, which are getting more and more difficult to find. All the air conditioner lines are still on it, and there's a lot of parts on this car. I said they don't reproduce these fenders. I don't know if these will be any good or not. They got a lot of surface rust on them because the paints fell off, but well, they might make it. Let's see. I don't think we can get any of the doors open on this car. They said they tried.
Yeah, I tried one, I couldn't get it budged.
Yeah, I think it's, we'll have to work on that. And it's got a trunk lock in it, so you can't just stick a screwdriver in there and open it. Now, well, we'll come back to that. So we got the hubcaps on it. But anyway, that's a candidate to be parted out.
Do people still buy the old hubcaps, or they just buy the reproductions?
Well, there's no reproductions on these. They reproduce those little small, what they call bottle cap hubcaps that just cover up the center part of the wheel and the lug nuts. But you could actually get this hubcap on like a Super Bee.
That's the one I thought they were going to tear it apart. You see right there on that fender how rough they had to get on.
Well, this car is heavy, big time. So these big heavy cars like this are harder to work with. I think this is a tree grew into it over a course of ever how many years. That tire probably won't plug, but
I think it's still attached to the tree. It grew into the tree also.
it looks like it. But you can see where the tree kind of rusted part of it.
Paint was embedded into the tree.
Was it? It's got power windows on it. But these New Yorkers are usually pretty well loaded up with stuff. And this car will be parted out. I think it's a 69. It's a Chrysler New Yorker. There we go. These big cars mostly we get for drivetrain components and stuff like that. You'll sell some moldings and stuff off of them from time to time. Okay, I think this is a 58.
That was the last year of this equipment.
I'm not all that. It's a Plaza.
Yeah, Plymouth Plaza.
It's got a 6-lug aluminum trailer wheel in it. That's good. We probably use that.
That had a battery in it.
Here's a box of drill bits.
That fell out the bottom. It was on Woody's truck when he got the car off of it.
Well, I don't know what the deal is with this big hole here in the quarter panel, why that's there. I don't know. I guess that's just where it decided to let go with. Here's a little green bottle that was perfume or whiskey or something. What year is this? I can't read that.
And a bunch of hooks.
It says here, happiness is being single. Is this a car he was sporting around? You can probably see why.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows Larry D. Shoulders, we've got his desk plaque here. Well, we've got the Road Runner over here and got it unloaded. And the good part is it didn't come apart when they loaded it. Did y'all get some pictures of that Thunderbird that was sitting next to it?
Yeah, that bulldozer mangled that thing.
We did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just disintegrated when they tried to move it. So this car was sitting up maybe a foot higher out of the swamp than the T-Bird was. So it's not deteriorated to that point. Like I said, we'll probably get it up and take a look at the frame rails and cross members and stuff and see what kind of shape that stuff's in. And we'll probably check the serial numbers on it and stuff. I mean, the motor looks to be original. I don't think it's ever been messed with. But depending on how many miles a car has on it, it may have had 2 or 3 transmissions put in it and stuff like that. We'll check the transmission, see if it's original. And kind of clean it out a little bit and see what all is in it. This stripe, by the way, is not original. It's going to open. And this car's got a carpet in it. Some of these early strippy Road Runners had rubber floor mats in them if they were automatic. The 4-speed cars all had carpet. Well, the hood, the one thing else on this hood, it's a red hood, so the hood's been replaced for some reason. The right side quarter panel has been scabbed on under the roof line back there, so and it may have been red. was thinking I saw some. Oh, now this door ain't open. There it goes. Now you can't see any paint. When we get in the trunk, we can see if it was a. But you can see right here, the plastic line here where it was. And this used to be a common practice in body shops. They'd cut these things. They'd cut the quarter down low like that to keep from having to get up in all this stuff in here. And just scab it on there and bondo it up. So that's evidently happened there. Well, now here's something to look at. This quarter panel's got black primer on it. That was probably a new quarter panel when they put it on the car. And when we get in the trunk, the panels usually had part numbers stenciled on them. So the stencil for the part number will probably still be there. I hadn't seen any kind of snake skins or any of that stuff in it, so that's good. Now out here in the sunlight, our moss collection will probably die, but it's had its turn to try to claim it. So. I noticed that there's one of this is maybe the original upper hose off of it. It's shaped right, and we'll clean that off, see if there's a number on it. It doesn't look any worse than the one that's on there, so I don't know why they would have replaced it. And these are the original style clamps that are on there too. And most times when somebody changed the hose, they didn't put them things back on. Yeah, I mean, they'd seal, but they'd seal once. But like I said, it's just unusual to find one that everything's still here. And like I said, I don't know what we're going to do with this car. I don't intend to part it out at present. We'll see where it goes. But there's an incredible amount of reproduction parts for this car. All the exterior sheet metal, all the floors, the hood, all the cross members, the frame rails, the rocker panels, all that stuff is available in a reproduction and quality stuff. So the car could be restored if somebody wanted to do that. And some of the pieces might be, like you might be able to save the fenders off of it. The hood's a goner, and the doors both got problems, and so on and so forth. But this is the way, most of these cars are now. You find them, they're rusted. They've been sitting outside for nearly 60 years and in the weather, and or in this case on a swamp. So it is what it is. That mirror's not right. Wonder what happened there.
The right mirror?
No.
What's it supposed to have?
It's similar to that, but much smaller. Like I said, it probably got knocked off or something. Who knows? This is another one of them cars that if it could talk, it would probably scream.
When did they start putting them standard on both sides?
That never, during the time these cars were built, that wasn't required. And a surprisingly large number of them don't have mirrors on the right side. You try to drive a car now without a mirror on the right side, it's almost impossible. You can't see how to back it. You don't know what's on the right side. You can't see how to back it up. I don't see how they drove them. But
as long as you drive faster than everybody else.
Well,
You don't
always,
have to back up.
that's true, but the one time you don't, then. And this one had there's a poor man's air shocks on it. Those extra long shackles there. You put those things on there and raise the back of the car up without having to put air shocks on it. So it probably had some kind of big tires and aftermarket wheels and stuff on it at one time, which was commonplace. And today these guys look for the original wheels and stuff to go back on them. But Back then, the biggest part of them had Kragers or Keystones or slots or something on it. I know that was the first thing I did when I bought my first car. I bought wheels and tires to put on it.
What was your first car?
It was the '68 Super B, and it didn't live long enough to get the wheels and tires put on it. I wrapped.
What got you started on it?
Yeah, it was the first car we parted out. It was mine. That was a kind of an unpleasant situation, but it did get me started. All the parts are for sale on these things. It's not the whole car. We don't sell.